Good afternoon, Mansi. It's so
Good,
nice to see you today.
good afternoon, Professor. Nice to see you again, too.
I'm so happy that you have some time to talk to me today. I know you're very, very busy, and I'm really grateful. I think you have a great story to tell about your life, and I'm just so glad that you're going to tell it today. So I'm going to begin by reading your bio and giving a little introduction about the project, and then we'll begin our conversation, okay?
Sure.
All right, great. So Mansoureh Amiri was born in Tabriz, Iran, near the Turkish border, and grew up in Tehran, Iran. She moved to the United States in 2014 and now lives with her husband and two sons, ages 8 and 5, in Bethesda. She speaks Farsi, Turkish, German, and English. Mansi studied at Montgomery College in the ELAP program, English Language for Academic Purposes, with me. It was so fun to have you in class. Today she works as an 8th grade teacher, computer science and technology teacher at Francis Scott Key Middle School in Silver Spring, Maryland. And in her spare time, she enjoys listening to podcasts, looking at photos of interior design magazines, and hiking. As you know, my name is Heather Bruce Satcham. I teach in ELAP, English Language for Academic Purposes, at Montgomery College. This project is called History in the Making, documenting stories of immigrant and refugee students at MC. And the goal is to help others better understand the experiences of immigrants and refugees in the United States, particularly here in Montgomery County. Telling your story will enable others to better understand the challenges that immigrants face and better appreciate the resilience and perseverance of people in your community. So I'm very grateful for your participation. You had a chance to read these questions in advance, but please note that all of the questions are optional. If you want to skip a question at any point, that's fine. If you need to take a break, that is fine too. We'll take about an hour for the conversation. Let's see, what time is it? All right, keeping an eye on that. And today is Wednesday, April 26th. Could you please tell me your full name?
My name is Mansoureh Amiri, but I have a nickname as a Mansi.
And do I have permission to record this interview?
Yes, please.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, so tell me where and when you were born, and then a little bit about the community that you grew up in.
I was born on November 10, 1976 in Tabriz. This location stays on the northwest of the Iran, and the people there are speaking Turkish. As I born, my father started to his educational way, and he got admission from one of the best university in Tehran, and we moved from the Tabriz to Tehran. I am coming from a little big family. I have 5 siblings, and I grew up in educational family too. My father has a PhD in architect, and he's a political.
Good afternoon, Francis Scott Key staff. If you are ready for some self-compassion after all the testing, please meet us in the room 139 for mindfulness. Thank you.
That's okay.
Yes.
I know that you're at the school where you teach, so.
Yes.
But you were
Sorry
saying that.
about that. I hope that would be last.
That's okay, no worries.
And as I told, my father was a politician people, and he is educated. And I have 3 sisters, 2 brothers, and we grew up in Tehran. Our house was in the best place in the Tehran. My father did all the things he could help us to improve our ability in different ways. But I come from the religious family too. And I remember I was 5 years old, and my mom started to wear us a hijab, and we dressed the long dress all the time. We never dress, as a girls, we never dress up with the pants or other stuff like legging. And we practiced our religious at home the most of the time with the community, with our community, Turkish community and Persian community. And I think I have shared all the things about my family.
Can you tell me a little bit about the house or apartment building that you grew up in?
Yes,
What it was like?
as I told, we lived in the almost the best location in Tehran. We had a big home with 4 big bedroom and living room. We always had someone to help my mom to clean up the home or do the household.
You please come to the media center. Ms. Avanesian, please come to the media center. Thank you.
And that was a big apartment in the big building in the north of the Tehran. And
I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish.
we changed it, and we got a single home in other place of the Tehran. That was a good place, and my family right now living at this place in a single home at the north of the Tehran.
So you still have family there?
Yes, my
Wow.
mom and my dad are living there.
And your siblings, are they still there or did they move?
No, they get married, all of them, and they are not living with my family, but they are living around my family because my mom and dad, because they are getting old. And my dad got a brain stroke 2 years ago, and always they should be near my family to help them if they need.
I understand. Can you share some memories from your childhood related to special holidays?
Yes, we have some events. They are so important to Persian people, like Nowruz and Charsham Suri, Shab Yalda. We always gathering as a whole family. I mean, with the aunt, uncle, or grandma, grandfather, and celebrate these events. We have another religious event after we fasted for 1 month. At the end of the fasting months, we gather together and we make some delicious food and share together and spend the time together. That was whole back to my country. In United States, I never find a place to gather and do the things here. But I remember that was so nice time. As a child and as a youth, we spent too much time with my cousins, going out, laughing, and it was nice, yes.
I'm always interested in the holiday of Nowruz, the celebration.
Yes,
There's some interesting like rituals and traditions. Could you describe that for people who don't know about Nowruz?
Yes, Nowruz is the beginning of our new year. It is at the first of the springtime. We are getting prepared for Nowruz about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from the Nowruz. We clean up the home and buy the newest stuff, and we are going to make a haft scene. It has 7 important items, which of them introduce something from my country or from the thought of the people in my country. And we make a half scene, and before the time the new year begin, we sit around the half scene and make good wishes for new year. And then we always wear a new dress. We dress up with new stuff, and we put the Quran is a religious book and Hafiz inside the Hafsin, and we put the money inside the Quran or Hafiz and give it them to the youngest children. It is so nice. My sons always are waiting for this time. They never visited Iran or Tehran. Just I do it to teach them our holidays and how important is Nowruz for us, or Charshamba Suri or Shab Yalda.
Can you tell me a little bit about those last two holidays? I'm not familiar with those either.
Shab Yalda is the longest night. We celebrate and gather together at the night.
So it's like winter solstice?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can invite our friend, and we make a dinner, and they are dancing. I don't dance. They are singing, and at the end of this night, we are reading the Hafiz and making the wish for the not new year, but it's the new start of the Shab Yalda. And we should have a special food for this night. We make something with the pomegranate, and we eat a pomegranate, a zuzi, I am pronouncing in German. Some delicious and something with the most sugar inside. And yes, we just gather together and dance and read the Hafiz and wish the good things for each other.
Hafiz, the poet.
Yes.
Yes, I admire the poetry of Hafiz very much. Do you have any favorite poems of Hafiz that maybe later you could send me a link and I could include it?
Yes, definitely.
That would be lovely. Tell me a little bit about your education growing up when you were a child and then when you were a teenager.
In the high school, I graduated in mathematical branch. And after I finished high school, we do an important exam in the country based on the branch we selected. And I wanted to be an architect because my father is an architect. I remember as he was working on the architect, I always wish if I were an architect too. But based on the exam, we couldn't decide which of those subjects we should continue. I did selected for computer engineering, and I went to the university, but after a few months, my father got a chance to send me and my brother to Germany to continue our education at the one of the best university in the Düsseldorf, and we went there. And after that was just for 2 until 3 years, and we stayed there for 3 years. And after I got a bachelor from this university, I back to Iran, and I did continue my study in MBA branch, and I studied MBA. And after I finished, I started my first job as a teacher, as a computer teacher in a middle school and high school in Iran. And I was teacher there for 2 or 3 years. I don't remember, but maybe 3 years. And after I got a good position in one of the company for programming, and I left my job as a teacher and I start my work as a programming in this company. And I stayed at this position until I immigrated to US.
How old were you when you lived in Germany?
I was 18 years when we went to the Germany, and after I came back, I was 21.
How did the experience of living in Germany affect your outlook? Did it change your opinions about, I don't know,
Yes,
about education, or
definitely.
about thinking about women's roles in Iran and women's roles in Germany, if that affected you in any way?
Definitely. In Iran, women have a so difficult time with the regime and the whole stuff there. But in the German, women got a chance based on their ability to find a place for work and study. And as I remember, the women in the German, they are so strong. I don't know, based on their culture, they were so independent, they were so strong. And as I lived there, I found that how they are doing they are making their whole life without help of their brother or father or other members of the family. And it was so interesting for me because the most of the time in the Iran, girls are growing up to always to be independent on their family. And it's like that they couldn't find a way to get free from this situation until they get married. But after when their life change, when they get divorced and they came back to their family again, they are at the same position as before. And they couldn't make a decision alone. They couldn't live alone. They couldn't have their life without their family. And it's really hard for the woman in Iran.
It's really interesting that at a young age, you had this opportunity to kind of see a different way of approaching women's roles. And I wonder how that affected you later on. It sounds like it did affect your.
Yes, definitely. It did, because after I came back to Iran, my mom was changed. And I remember my father told me, you did change, why you are thinking like so? And I told, because I saw how women are different in other countries and how this regime put the woman in like a big jail and they couldn't do anything. And my father was so surprised. And at this time, we got negotiate about everything that belonged to women in Iran.
That's very interesting. This might be a good point in the conversation to talk about when you met the man who became your husband later.
Yes.
So it led to about that.
Definitely. After I came Iran, and I met my husband's sister in the university as I wanted to get a master, and I saw his brother, and she told me my brother wants to learn a little more about you, and can you guys get a chance to meet each other? And but in my family, it was a big red, I don't know, red point to meet someone else without permission of my father. And I told my father about the Said's and Said's Meinung, and he told me, no, you stop to meet this guy because he's not belonging. He won't belong to our family because of his mind and his thought. And but I continued to meet Said, and I found that the way we are thinking is the same. And my father told me, if you continue, I gave your car, I gave anything I'm doing for you. And I told him, okay, do it, my father. If I want to marry, I want just marry beside. If no, I won't accept any other people. You can imagine, as a girl who is grow up in a famous family, she will have more more people who want us to marry with me. And my father always recommended people who they are thinking like my father. And that was a big challenge. It took almost 2 years. And after my father not accepted, but he noticed I decided I won't give up my decision, he would agree to marry with Said. But Said was arrested at this time. Oh my God. And my father started to say no again. But I selected Said, and I waited for Said for 3 years. And after Said got released from the prison, they came with his family, and my father decided to change their mind and allowed me to marry with Said. But he told me, you broke my heart. And as a big child in the family, that was very hard for my father. But I did it.
That took a lot of courage.
Yes.
And a lot of patience.
No, yes. 3 years he was in prison. 3 years I couldn't see Said. 3 years I was just went and stand near the door of the prison, and maybe someone come out and give me a news about the Said. That was so hard.
You couldn't see him at all during that time?
No, never.
Could you send him a letter?
I just gave them the red rose, always with his mother. They came from another city to visit Said every 2 or 3 months. And they always told me when the next time for visit, and I bought something, not something, just one rose, one red rose, and send it to Said. And Professor, after Said was released, he brought all the rose.
Oh,
God.
How
And
many roses were there?
that was maybe 90, I'm not sure, 90,
Oh, he kept all of them.
yes.
Oh
And
my gosh, that's beautiful.
that
That's
was
a beautiful story.
that was I left all of them in my yeah, after we decided to immigrate to US. That was I missed a lot for this rose, and I gave it to my mom and told them, please watch out to this rose. Maybe later, if I got a chance and I can visit Iran again, I will bring it with me to US.
Oh. So I just want to make sure that it's clear for people watching the video that your father is very conservative and religious, and you grew up in that background. But the man that you chose to marry was a political activist who opposed the regime.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the work that the political activist work that your now husband was doing? What did he do that led to his arrest? What was he protesting? What was he trying to accomplish at that time?
He always fight for the democracy in Iran, and he is trying. He was trying to make a meeting for the people and to aware the people how this regime are doing in Iran and how they are putting the people in a very I don't know, in not democratic situation, and he tries to bringing down the regime with some political active in Tehran. And as he arrested, the reason was he arrested, he had a meeting in outside the Iran, and the regime spied them outside the Iran, and after he came back, he was arrested at the airport. The meeting was about how they can make a meeting and have a lot of people, especially the young people, to aware them about the democracy in Iran.
So what year was he released from prison?
The year was he released from the, that was 3 years before we immigrate to US. That was 2010.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 36, no, maybe 33.
So you had to wait a long time to begin your life together.
Yes.
And I imagine it must have been very hard to start your relationship again after you had been separated for so long.
Yes, definitely. That was so hard because after he released from the prison, he was not the same as he went to the prison. 3 years, it's a long time. And he was depressed. After he released, he found that all the things so bad in Tehran or in Iran. He couldn't believe what was happening in Tehran during 3 years he was arrested. Everything is changing all the time in Tehran or in Iran, and it's not the same as yesterday.
Well, and I'm thinking about what's happening there now. Can you describe a little bit about the situation now? Do you feel there's so many demonstrations? I see, on social media and in the news, women burning their headscarves and like women are out in the streets. Do you feel a sense of hope for your country now? Do you feel like maybe finally some change is coming?
the hope is always there. It was started from the Mahsa Amini death, and that was a big protest, one of the big protests in Tehran, and all about the woman and their rights. And but the regime did control this situation. They killed the people on the street, and what happened? People, they are afraid of this regime because they are killing people without any reason. They just want to be freedom. They want just to be freedom, want to be, as a woman, select what they want to wear. That's the one thing they wanted right now in Iran. But the regime killed the people, and it makes the people to be afraid to come out again and protest again. But the hope is always there. There are a lot of bad situations, like economic situation or other stuff. It's really bad in Iran, and maybe in future they would help again to the people to come out from their home, from their zone, and start to protest again.
I hope so. Let's go back to the time where Saeed was released from prison, and did you get married in your home country?
We get married, but we didn't had a big ceremony.
Wedding?
Wedding ceremony there. And because my father was against, and Saeed was in bad situation, he was so depressed. We just get married and we started their life together. But I just worked, and we needed money. We needed something to continue to live there because economic situation in Iran, always, all the time, the price are changing in Iran. And we needed another way to manage their life, but Saeed couldn't find any job because he was prison and he couldn't find. And after 3 years, the life was so stressful for me and Saeed, because not because of the economic, that was another reason, because the whole time they are spying, the regime are spying Saeed all the time. He couldn't do anything in Iran. As a political activist, they wanted to write, they wanted to have a meeting, they wanted to meet someone, to speak with someone, but he couldn't have this chance. And he was in prison at home. And we decided to immigrate to US, and Saeed's friends were immigrate before Saeed's to US. They suggested to get a visa from one of the university, and we got it, and we immigrated to US.
What year was that?
That was 2013. That was April 2013. This year was 10 years.
Did you immigrate first to New York?
Yeah, we should went there, but we didn't, because the class was online, and he could continue his study at home without go to the university in the location.
So did you come as a political asylee? Was it through a program that was helping people who were political dissidents, or did you come through a university program or as students? How did you
Uh,
come
after we got the visa, we came here, and I and Said applied for many years to get a green card, and we didn't find any way. And one of our friends told Said, "Why you are not getting asylum? It's a good way to get a green card in the US." That was another bad situation for Said. That was like to being die because he wanted to be as asylum, but we didn't have any other way to stay in US. And he got asylum after 2 years, and we got a green card. And right now I am a citizen, but Said decided don't be a citizen because he wants to be a citizen in Iran, not in other country.
Oh, interesting. Is that because he still has hope for
Yes,
change there?
yes,
That's fascinating.
yes.
So if I understand correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, originally he was going to work at a university in New York or teach there?
Yes, teach.
And what was his profession, or is his profession?
He's an industrial engineer, and he decided to teach there. I don't know what was the topic. That was something related to engineering stuff there. I don't remember. Christ in the industrial, I don't know, something like that.
So did you move first to New York, or did you
No,
move to
we
Tehran?
just arrived in Montgomery here.
Oh,
as
okay.
I live, because his best friend is living here.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and we just arrived here, and we visit the university as later, but we never went there and stayed in the New
Did
York.
you find work in his field here?
That was another story. Not really. And he started to because he has a good background how to make money in a stock market, and he decided to work at one company who is doing the stock market.
So he's working in business or
Yes.
finance. Okay, interesting. So you came to to Montgomery County, and that was, remind me what year that was?
That was 2013, April
Okay.
2013.
So right before you came, what emotions were you feeling about moving to the United States? I imagine you had a mix of emotions about this.
The emotion, I left Iran for the second time. That was easier for me. But with Said, that was another story, because the reason was different. The first time I left Iran to get the way to study and came back to Iran with a bachelor degree. But this time, as we decided to leave the country, we knew that maybe we don't see the country again. And that was very bad feeling, because when you knew you never see your family, you never see your culture, you never see all the things they are belonging to you, but no way to come back again. That was horrible. but
can imagine.
we had a hope to come back again. And Said is still is hoping to came back to my country and build it again. But I don't know, maybe later.
What were your impressions of Maryland when you first came here? What did you think about it?
Oh, Maryland. At the first time, Maryland is so green. The green place. We have like this place in the north of the Iran. And as I came here, I found that, oh my God, it's a so nice place to live because just what I saw. But the people as I met in the airport or on the street, they were so kind. They always smiling and saying good morning, hello, hi to each other. And that was very interesting for me because I lived in Germany, but the people there were totally different than United States.
Interesting.
Yes.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I remember in the first time, at the first day, we went out and, oh my God, the weather was sunny and the people around us that just say, good morning, hi, with a smiling face. That was impressed me, how they are so kind. And yes, I found that very interesting.
What is it like to be a Muslim woman or an Iranian woman in the United States? Do you feel like sometimes people have stereotypes about you? Do they make generalizations about you or assumptions about you?
Yes, definitely. I got this feeling as my son was born, and I decided to match myself in a mom's group in US. But I couldn't. That was so hard because at that time I was wearing the hijab, and at the beginning I thought maybe I couldn't speak good English or something like that, but during this time I noticed it is a different reason, and I never thought about the woman who wear the hijab and relation between how he's wearing with the terrorism. But I found that after a few months, they are thinking the woman with the hijab, they may belong to this thought of the terrorism. And that was bad feeling for me because I was wearing the hijab because of my religious thought, but that was hard to me to believe. They are pointing me as a terrorism.
So did you decide to stop wearing the hijab?
Yes, but that was not this reason, because I found that was another important reason. As a woman, as an Iranian woman, and who is wearing the hijab, he is coming from this thought he is belonging to the regime, and I was not belonging to the regime. My thought was different and is different. And I couldn't find the place for me as an Iranian woman in my community. And because if I wear hijab, I should belong to the people who is agree with the regime. And if I am not agree with the regime, I should make a decision and stop to wearing hijab. I remember as the first time in the, that was a meeting, Said and I went there, and all the politician people there were so surprised. Said's wife is wearing the hijab, and Said was so upset. And he told me, stop wearing hijab when you are coming with me to this meeting. And I was so upset because I wear the hijab because I found it so comfortable for me. And I believed, as a religious people, you should cover your head with a scarf. And Sai told me, if you want to come with me in this place, you should don't wear the hijab. And I stopped to go with Said to this place. And I found it myself so lonely because I need someone. I am personally want to be connect with the people. I get energy from other people, and that was so hard to me because I didn't find any friend here in Iranian community and in the American community. And that was the reason I stopped to wear hijab.
That sounds so hard. We have an expression in English, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
What does it mean?
It means that you were judged by both communities.
Yes.
For making a decision, and you were, no matter what you did, it was hard for you.
Oh, I always think about the article we read in the class together that was about an elephant in the airplane.
Oh yes.
I was an elephant in both communities.
The elephant in the room. That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember that. That was an interesting story about a Syrian poet and activist, and how she was always judged for covering her hair. Yeah. Do you feel now less lonely? Have you been able to make friends? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, I found it more comfortable without the hijab. And I'm glad that I stopped wearing hijab before this situation is still happening in Iran. Right now, I have something to say. But before, if I go to the street and be one of the protesters, they won't believe me. I am fighting against this regime. But without the hijab, they will believe my thought is my thought is against for this regime. But right now, I have some friends who are American or from other country, and I have 2 or 3 friends from my country. Yes.
Do you have a mix of friends from
Yes.
your country and from here? Have you been able to meet moms like in your neighborhood? Like you mentioned, it was hard to meet moms when your kids were first born. Do you feel like you have
Yes,
in your
yes,
neighborhood?
yes. I got a chance to meet some of them. We always meet each other in the park or in the playground and get a chance to talk to each other about the stuff around the kids and the
I'm
problem with the with the behavior and like that.
I'm glad that you are less lonely now and that you
Yeah.
found friends. It's hard.
Yes, it was hard.
So you had to also rebuild your career. You have an MBA, you said, and you
Yes.
had a career in your home country, but you had to start all over again.
Mm.
And that must have been very hard. Can you talk a little bit about how you decided to become a teacher again and the journey to getting your certification?
Yes, definitely. I was teacher after I graduated from my country in the computer engineering. I mean, after I came from the German and I got my bachelor, I started to get the master of the MBA. But I think that was at the end of this time, I got a chance to be a teacher in the middle school and high school as a computer teacher. And I had a good experience with the students. And I thought maybe that is a best job for me. But I don't know why I changed my job. Maybe as an engineer in Iran, your income would be so good, but teachers' income are so in the middle salary. And maybe the reason I changed it of the income. And after I got my two sons, and I decided to find a job. I remember during my pregnancy and during I stayed at home, I went to the Montgomery College and I got two certificates in programming computer. But after they grow up and I decided to find a job, I wanted to to have this, I don't know, this lovely experience again to be as a teacher, and started my way to get a certificate in the Montgomery County College, and I started during the pandemic time. And I got my certificate about a year ago, and I start my job as a substitute teacher. I was substitute teacher for math, and then I applied to be a teacher, not as a substitute teacher, as a main teacher. And I got this position in the Francis Scott Middle School, and I am teaching here technology and computer science right now.
Is it challenging to teach 8th grade here?
Yes. I don't know, everything was changed during the pandemic. I have a conversation with other teachers and they told me they were not like so. The behavior are so terrible. And we are struggling with the lots of behavior issues in this in this school, and especially at this age. And the most of the time, they are on their phone. They won't participate. They are off the task. I don't know. Everything is changing, and they are changing too.
That sounds really hard.
Yes.
Do you hope to, in the future, teach at the high school level instead, or do you see making some other kind of transition, or do you?
Definitely. That is my first step. I want to continue. I want to be my hope to be a math teacher in high school, my toughest wish. And I didn't start from here, but I will continue. Maybe after 2 or 3 years, after everything got a little comfy for me, I will jump to high school and continue to get my dream.
I hope you can do that, because I know that you love mathematics.
Yes.
You love teaching, so it would be great if you could find a context where you could
Yes,
do what you love.
definitely.
And I
Definitely.
know it's not easy to get all of the right certifications to teach in Montgomery County Public Schools. I know you took the praxis, but you have to take another praxis exam. It's a lot.
Yeah. Professor, I don't have enough time for myself. And that was my wish. If I could just for half an hour, I could relax and have my tea or coffee beside me and eat a little cake and enjoy it. I am so busy. After I go home, I need to spend time with my sons, and we went out, or they have a lot of things to do. 3 days they have they do some swimming class, music class, or soccer class. It's a lot for me. I should manage all the stuff by my own, and it's really hard.
Being a mom and working,
Oh,
and it's very challenging, I think, in the United States, because for many families, extended family and relatives are not there to help. Like, everyone is so busy. Do
yes.
you feel like being a mom in general is easier in your home country because there's the help of aunts and
Yes.
mothers?
Yes.
And
Oh.
here, do you feel like you're on your own?
Yes, I am single hand here. I don't have anyone to help me. I remember I got a C-section for both of my sons, and nobody here to help me, to just make me a dinner or lunch. My husband should be at the work. And I remember after we came home, at the next day, I was at the kitchen to make something to eat, just to eat.
That's too much. That is too much. I really hope that you can get some more ease in your life soon. It's very challenging.
Yeah. Oh, that was all the things that was belong to the past. But I hope everything would be better.
I hope so too. I know that one of the things that you mentioned in your bio is that you enjoy spending time outdoors.
Yes.
As a way of relaxing. Are there any special places in Montgomery County that you like to go, like any gardens or parks, or do you sometimes go to other places in the greater Washington area to get outside and go hiking?
No, I don't. I didn't get this chance because I am not alone. I should bring both my sons, and the best thing for me to pick the place they want to play. They can enjoy, and they can play there.
I understand that.
But maybe later, after 20 years, after they grow up.
maybe less than 20 years, I hope, as they
Yes.
get more independent. Tell me if we could go back a little bit to your experience at Montgomery College. How did it help you prepare for your job, or what did you find useful about your classes?
Oh, that was so helpful. I got a good chance to meet some people from other countries. I will connect with them if I needed help. And that was really helpful to improve my English level. Because as I came in the US, my thought, my language, all the things I could talk was in German. And oh, that was so horrible, Professor. The people started to talk to me. I could understand, but I started to answer in German. And that took a long time, not long time, a year, maybe, that I changed the way in how I can answer in English. I'm still practicing my English, but that was a big challenge for me. And Montgomery and the college really helped me to improve my my education. I don't know education, I can't tell, to improve my English in different way as I write, or I can talk, or listening stuff. That was really helpful. And I got a chance to meet two lovely professor there, and you were one of the best.
I was so happy to have you in my class. You
Thank-
always have interesting things to say and interesting things to write. I always enjoyed reading your essays.
Thank you so much, but you did help me a lot.
Who was the other professor that helped you?
She was originally from the Russia. The last name was difficult to me, but the first name was Diana. We always called her Diana. And she was a writing teacher.
In ELAP or after?
No,
in
ELAP, yes.
Was it Diana Trajkovic?
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
I will have to let her know. Yeah, she will be very happy to hear that.
And that was, and his story was, I found that so close to my story, because he came from different country. He needed to build a stuff from the zero in the US. And that was, I had a good chance to hear about his story, and that was so impressed me as a woman. Do my best and put me in the challenge and fight. And yes.
She's, I believe, originally from Sarajevo, and
Yes, genau. Yes.
she has a really interesting story too. I should interview her for this project.
Oh, really? Yes, definitely. And she was.
Well, I'm glad that you felt like Montgomery College helped you get on the right path towards working on your career. Since you were a teacher in Iran and a teacher here, can you compare the experience?
Oh, it's really different. Why, Professor? As I started my work as to be a main teacher, we should prepare the class a week before starting the new year of a school. And I didn't know we should decorate the class, or we should put something on the wall. We should have slides for the parents' night. Oh, I did learn a lot. And here, it's totally different than from my country. And here, really, they want the teacher should be the perfect, should always be done with the lesson plan or all the things. But in my country, I don't know, maybe they changed there, but they were so easy to teach.
In terms of classroom behavior, like were the students better behaved
Yes,
than here?
because here the students coming from different culture. We have in Iran one culture, we know each other culture, we can manage the issues better than here. In my class, some students are from Asian, some of Ethiopian, some of the from American, African family, some are from American. There are so many culture here, and they came from different family. It's really hard to manage or figure out how to control this behavior.
I think being a public school teacher is a very challenging job here.
For my experience, it's very challenging, but I am not sure. Maybe I am from other country, but maybe I don't live in this country for a long time, but for me, it's really challenge.
Something you said earlier in the conversation that I thought was really interesting was about how you continue to have at home with your sons traditions to remind them about their
Persian
history and their traditions. I'm curious if you are raising your sons to be bilingual or trilingual. Of course, you speak 4 languages. What language do you speak at home with your sons?
We always, because Said just can't speak Farsi. We are speaking with Said Farsi. I speak with my family Turkish. And my sons heard about the Turkish. He can understand a little. But my sons together are talking in English, because it's easy for them to talk to each other and play with each other in English. It's interesting, my oldest son always responds to me in Farsi, but my youngest son never.
It's interesting.
Yes, but we are keeping to have bilanguage child, and I try my best.
It must be hard to continue some of the traditions from your heritage and raise a family here. What do you do to try to keep your culture alive with your sons?
I enrolled my oldest son in a Persian school. It's not a school, it's just he just went there in Saturday morning from 9 to 12, and they teach a lot from my country, about the city, about the culture. They sung the events. That was one way I try to keep them to be familiar with the culture. Another thing, I prepare them before the cultural event like Nowruz or Charshanbe Suri or Shab Yalda. I told them they are famous and biggest event, and we need to keep them. We need to learn about it, and I try my best to do it.
Those are
And
lovely.
they loved these events more than another events like Christmas or other stuff. They are so excited to have a half scene or make dishes for Charshanbe Suri or Shab Yalda.
Thank you for sharing that. Those are lovely stories. I had another question about the concept of home. A lot of the students I'm interviewing for this project have talked about the idea of home and what it means for them. Is home back in your home country? Is home where you are now? Is home wherever your family is? When you think of the word home, what do you think of? Like, what is home for you?
Oh, home for me means where I am belong. I belong to my parents' home. I always think if I get a chance to back and see my parents, to visit my country, my home. I left my home in Iran. I wanted to say. Here, I have home here. I have my sons, my husbands, but I always missing something. It's not the real home for me. I like to be back and live in Iran, in Tehran, near my parents, but everything is changed and I never back to my country. I left my home in my country.
That's very hard.
Yes.
I hope someday you'll be able to
I
go back
hope.
to your family.
I hope.
How do you feel about telling your story today? What emotions are you feeling?
I am happy to share my story with other people. That was hard to talk about some experience back in my country. That was really hard to explain it. I wish I could explain it a little more better, but I am happy to share it with other students or other people. Maybe they will help to them to change their way they want it to be.
I have no doubt that people will benefit from hearing your story. Is there anything else that you would like to add that you haven't talked about today that's important to you?
I think I share the whole interesting steps in my life with you. And thank you so much for having me for this interview, Professor.
Mansi, it was a great, great pleasure. Thank you so much.
I appreciate.